From every strand on the line of your reel, to the rods, to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook, let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your hosts, Rob Welch and John Stoudinger.
Good evening, everybody. I'm John.
Hi, y'all are. Cajun Rob hanging out with you on a rainy Kentucky night.
Oh, it's nice up here. I mean, it's
I know. Don't rub it
a
in.
little
Man.
chilly. I mean, it's only like 40 degrees, but no rain. Got to have grass on the ground. No snow.
It was a lot warmer there than it was in Chicago. I'll just say that. Last week, I was going from, I think I was in Kenosha. I told John this, that I went outside, had breakfast. So I just kind of wet my hair just to have it lay down. And so I'm going to run out to the car and get something real quick. It's 0 degrees, 20-mile-an-hour winds. It's like negative 14. I said, I'll just run out the car real quick. Come in and my hair is frozen. It's froze. It's like straw. I'm like, I'll let that thaw out. I don't let it to break and fall out. So that was my introduction to sub-zero weather. So yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. That is what it is.
All right, so I'm trying to get.
Sorry, you got your first comment already.
Yeah.
Your old buddy Barker Ruger says negative what? Nope, that does not compute. I'd agree with that, Barker Ruger. That was not good on a Southern boy. Looked at just a week.
I'm sure it wasn't.
Luckily, my heater was good in my car.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back safe. You got to enter the nice warm weather.
Yeah, and get back in my truck. I was glad to get back in my truck this morning and go to work. So it's all good.
Yeah. So anyways, tonight we have DeAnna Lovvorn on, or Lovvorn, depending on what part of the country you're in. From Tennessee. She competes in the LBAA. One of her main things, from what I'm understanding, is she likes to fish her strengths and recommends it. She relies on techniques that are comfortable and confident rather than mimicking the boater style unless it aligns with her expertise. DeAnna has recently focused on improving her skills with the Carolina rig, which I'm interested in, which she practices to build confidence and observing the effectiveness during a tournament. So let me get DeAnna up. I'll get her name right by the end of the show. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Glad to have you on. I've been looking forward to it.
Yes.
So have I.
Before we get into Carolina rigging, would you mind talking a little bit how you got into fishing and then tournament fishing?
So yes. So back in 2014, on a Saturday morning, I was driving to work, and normally when my husband and I would go fishing, we would listen to a fishing radio talk show out of Nashville.
Yep.
And on my way to work that morning, I thought, well, I'll just see what they're doing. You know, I wasn't going fishing, I was going to work. And there was this lady on there talking about the LBAA. And I was just infatuated with it. I was like, this is so amazing. It's nothing but women. And, you know, my majority of my fishing at the time was just going with my husband and mostly taking a book or sitting there, taking a nap on the back of the boat, wetting a line every once in a while, but, you know, nothing really. And so I listened to this show all the way to work, which was a good 45 minutes. And I came home and I told my husband all about it. I said, this is the coolest thing to have a women's pro tour for nothing but fishing. And he thought, well, that is pretty neat. He hadn't heard of it. And so fast forward a couple of months, we went to the Bassmasters Classic in Gunnersville, and the year Randy Howe won. And so we were going through the programs, and he goes, see if the women happen to be there. And sure enough, they had a booth there. So I went and I met them, and their next tournament was going to be at Old Hickory, which is an hour and a half from where I live. And I bought a t-shirt and thought, this is so neat. And my husband's looking at me afterwards going, honey, you still can't take a fish off a hook. How are you going to get in a boat without me and do everything that you need to do to be able to fish with these women who are fishing all over the United States and have been fishing for years? And I was like, okay, I still just want to think about it. I think it was really cool. So the next day we went into Leeds Bass Pro Shop. They're right outside of Gunnersville. And this lady walks up to me and sticks her hand out to shake. I had no idea who she was. Never met her day before in my life. And she goes, are you a member? And I said, a member of what? And I forgot I'd bought a t-shirt and I had it on with the Lady Bass Anglers on it. And I went, oh, no, not yet. I said, I just, really met them yesterday. And I said, I'm interested. We stood there for over an hour talking to Martha Goodfellow and her husband, Don. And she gave me her card and said, if you got any questions whatsoever, email me, call me. And so I told Roger, my husband, I said, I would like to do this. And he goes, just remember, you got a lot to learn in a short amount of time. I said, train me, teach me. I want to do this.
Yep.
And Martha and I went back and forth with phone calls, like I said, and emails. I had every question of, well, what do you do when you need to go to the bathroom? What do you do when this happens? What do you do when this happens? And she just was so patient with me. And I went to Old Hickory, scared to death. Never caught a keeper fish in 2 days, but was infatuated with it. I met a dear close friend of mine that we both started fishing the LBAA at the same time at Old Hickory, which is Angela Mayo. She was a newbie then too. And I'm like, I'm going to the next one. I'm going to Kentucky. And we ended up being in a room right next to John and Angela. And I got on stage. I got the fever. I got 7th place, but I didn't care. I caught keeper fish. And from there, we went to Arkansas. And then there, I actually qualified for the Classic that year on Logan Martin. And I mean, I probably came in last place. I don't even remember now. That was back in 2014. I know I didn't do very well, but it just snowballed from there. I mean, I have met so many wonderful women. It's just, just being a co-angler for 6 years, you learn, you're a sponge. You ask questions, you pay attention, you see something that they're doing that, like I said, if it's not in your wheelhouse, in the middle of a tournament is not really the time and place to start trying to learn something. Stick with what you know. And at that time, I was throwing a shaky head Texas rig. That was it. That was all I really felt confident in doing. And so then the next year, me and Angela just started, we carpooled together. She's in North Carolina. She would come here. We left the husbands at home, which didn't go very well because they liked going to the lakes we were going to. Oh. And it just kept going. And then it ended up being a group of 3, which with Denise Testata. I mean, anytime all 3 of us are at the same tournament, we all get a house or stay in the same motel together. These women I would never have met these women from all over the United States if I hadn't turned on the radio that day.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's been an amazing journey. I have gone from, I haven't won a whole lot, but some of the ones I have won, I'm so proud of. In 2016, I won the Co-Angler Classic on Old Hickory.
Yep.
And then again in 2019, I won the Co-Angler division on Caddo Lake. Love me some Caddo Lake. That's some great fishing. I can't wait to go back in March. And then, it just, everybody kept trying to get me to go as a boater. And I was just, I was terrified, you know,
Yep.
the anxiety of it. And I mean, it was just finally, one of the ladies, Alyssa Johnson,
Yep.
gave me a little bit of advice. She goes, honey, you're not going to know what you can do if you don't let go of that dock.
Yep.
And so in 2020, I bit the bullet and went as a boater. And Pickwick was my first tournament. Then we went to Texas, and I know we went to Bull Shoals, someplace else. I can't even remember now. I was so excited. Missouri. We went to Missouri because that was
Okay.
the classic, and I won Rookie of the Year.
Nice.
So
Congratulations.
thank you very much. And I just want other women to know that, you know, it's amazing what just one program, one person that you're going, hey, she didn't hardly know any, but I had a great husband that, you know, taught me some basics. And then from there, I was learning from all these women that I was fishing with too, because they do that. I mean, there's some that will just go, hey, teach
Yep.
me what do you see, you know, not tell me where the fish are, tell me what to throw, but what is it with the weather, what is it with the wind, you know, there's a lot of factors that go into, you know, running the boat and being, you know, responsible for the co-angler that's in your boat and the boat itself and paying attention to other watercraft, you know. So that's
Yeah.
Absolutely.
that's my story for that. And if anybody out there would want, you know, that is thinking about wanting to get into fishing with the lady bass anglers or two chicks in a boat, or if you're in Texas to fish with the East Texas ladies with Denise, you know, we would all be more than happy to, you know, share our story, share how we got started, because that's the only way we're going to grow the sport. And
Correct. Pam Horn says Truman Lake.
Truman Lake, yes. That was
Yep.
the first time Pam fished with me. It was horrible. It was raining. It was snowing. It was lightning. The winds were blowing. Yeah, I don't. But that's when I first met Pam.
You should have
Pam
been
got
in
to
New
go
York
out
for
with
that.
Huh?
Sounds like New York. It sounds
Oh,
like New
it
York
was
weather.
horrible. Oh, I mean,
Our
there
good
will
old
be.
buddy.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, Truman Lake, I'm sure is beautiful, but you can just bet the one time the ladies show up, it's going to be some weather. So
Every
yeah.
time.
Every time.
Alvin with the American Angler Outdoors. He's on, says good evening. I'd like to give him a shout out because our show is being streamed live on his network, which is also found on Hulu, the American Angler Outdoors Network. Pam Horn says one of my first boaters will the LBAA on Truman Lake, and we always be special to her.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Pam's a great angler. She's a
Oh,
great
absolutely.
advocate for the sport too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Barking Ruger says, DeAnna, the dilemma of taking a fish off the hook is totally avoidable by fishing and not catching.
Yeah, I know that all too well.
Yeah, I've caught myself a couple of times with some hooks that, you know,
It happens.
it happens.
Vince Sherrill says, fishing Arkansas and Big Sarge is watching.
Hello.
All right.
Denise says, hey, DeAnna Lovvorn.
Hey, girl.
Lovvorn. I'll call you lots of things throughout the show. I'm sorry.
Just say DeAnna. It doesn't matter.
he ain't Southern like us. I'll just say that. So
I know, right?
Hey, I spent 6 months in Kentucky. How's that?
Oh yeah, okay. You
that'll
somewhat
do it.
qualify. Yeah, somewhat.
But
Did you eat grits? But did you eat grits when you was in Kentucky? That's my question.
I ate grits all growing up.
Okay. We're good then.
Okay.
Now, how do you like your grits?
Butter and pepper and a little bit of bacon.
Okay.
Me too, but I want just a pinch of sugar on top.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
not much. Just like what you would if you put salt on it.
Yep.
Just a little bit. But
Perfect.
yeah,
See,
same thing.
I was butter, salt, pepper, and a pinch of sugar.
There you go. There may be hope for you yet.
That's right.
Don't hold
Gotta
your
get the
breath.
basics in.
I digress.
Anyways, so we mentioned, what's your most memorable moment in a tournament?
It would have to be at Caddo in 2019 when I was fishing with Pam. Shoot, I've gone blank now. Somebody, one of the ladies, Pam Ridgel, sorry, and she had decided to sit down to retie, and we were just pitching and cypress trees. And I mean, of course, that's all you can do there. It's a tree here, pick a tree. And she had sat down and was retying, and I cast it over with the shaky head with a Yumdinger. Hold on, my brain goes blank every once in a while. June bug on it,
Okay.
on a shaky head, and I pitched it over there, and then I felt this thump and set the hook and up come out of the water. I was like, oh my God. and she jumped up and grabbed her net, and I'm like, please don't come off, please don't come off. Big, and it was a 6-7-4.
Wow.
And I missed big fish of the tournament. I got beat out by 6-7-6. Couple of drops of water.
Yep,
But that's
pretty
okay.
much.
I still won the tournament for the co-angler side.
Hey,
But
nothing
yeah,
wrong with
that was one of them that you're going, oh my goodness. I finally, found one that was bigger than 2 or 3 pounds, and when it came out of the water, I was like, please don't come off, please. So,
Barking Guru says DeAnna just asked him to tell you about his Gunnersville
Southern exposure. I'm not even going to go there.
No, I had some issues on Gunnersville. I was getting bit on a frog and couldn't get a fish to the boat.
Mm-hmm.
While my boater was sitting there flipping 20-something pounds in the first couple hours.
It happens.
I mean,
it happens.
He offered to. He said, "John, go ahead and pitch." I said, "No." I said, "I'm not going to interrupt." And this was the Toyota Championship.
Yep.
And I said, "I'm not going to interfere with you. So you keep doing what you're doing."
Yep.
And he ended up winning the tournament.
Wow.
Secret York here. DeAnna was the quickest learner co-angler I've ever had in my boat. I was doing something very hard to do, and she picked it up real fast and went putting them in the boat. I think she won that tournament. Excellent angler right there.
There you go.
Came in second with that, but yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Angela Mayo.
We were pretty much throwing the same thing. We just had a little bit different thing, and I was just watching how she was just hitting it on the side of the wall and letting it just fall down. And when the boat came around for my turn, we had a great day that day.
Awesome. Angela says, "Hi, Dee. We're watching from North Carolina."
Hey, Angela. Hey, John.
Hi.
Other John.
Yep.
All right, Rob, you got any questions?
Yeah, Miss Angela Mayo. I seen her a lot in the BFLs, and she's always in the money. She's a hammer in her own.
Yep.
But what's some like if we got some young ladies watching, they want to get in the co-angler game for LBAA. You got any tips or suggestions for any young ladies thinking about getting to the co-angler side of LBAA?
Absolutely. One thing that would help tremendously is to contact one of us. Like I said, even though I've moved to the boater side, I was a co-angler for 6 years. There's a lot of things that, us that have moved over to the boater side, can give you tips, and even the boaters can, of,
Oh, yeah.
you know, certain things to, what to bring. You can't bring the whole kitchen sink because, you've got one little box and it's their boat. And just like I've always said, just go with what you know.
Yep.
If, they're popping a frog and that's not something in your wheelhouse, throw your jig, throw your shaky head, your crankbait, if that's what your
Yep.
go-to is, and just try to focus on that. And if you're brand new to it, like I was always picking something every year to try to really work
Yep.
on. So like I said, shaky head, Texas rig were the first two things, I learned. They're the easiest to learn. Then I went to the jig, and then, worked on my Carolina rigging. And, it's just, I'm still not great with the frog. Really need to just pull one out one day, and that's all I use,
Yep.
and not keep swapping rods, and it's just something that when you learn something new, you've got that in your back pocket to go, hey, let's try this, or hey, let's try that. And then when you start going to lakes that you've already been to, have that diary. I went, for years, when I was first starting out, it was in March, we were here, this was the temperature, keep track of what, worked for you. And, a lot of the boaters that, the pro side, they don't, some you would have to ask, but some wouldn't mind showing you how they do something. But
yeah.
Yes.
it's, to me, it's just a lot easier to focus on that after the tournament.
Oh, absolutely. And then learn from your boaters. Learn what they do.
Oh,
I
yes,
mean,
I learned
you
a lot watching
yep.
how they would drag a jig, or how they would, you know, um, drag the Carolina rig. Because whenever I first started using them, um, I was just fishing it like I was a jig, and
Yep.
I was with Terry Sendrick, and we were at Logan Martin, and I got to watching how she was doing it, because I'm like, she's catching these fish. What am I doing wrong? And I got to watching her, and she was dragging.
Yep.
Right.
She threw it out there and just drag, and almost setting it like you would a wacky. Just
Yep.
off to the
Lean into
side.
it. Yep.
Yep, and lean into it. And it was like, okay. So I really started focusing on my technique with that. If you're really wanting to be able to skip under a dock, which some days I can, and some days I hit the dock every single time.
Or pontoon and
Or
make a big
pontoon, or
ping.
yes,
I- I'm
ping.
guilty. I'm guilty.
Yeah,
It's always the loudest
and,
noise on the lake.
Oh
right.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's like, hello, I'm here. Wake up.
There, bear.
And you know, I had another co-angler said that, because I was fishing, not a co-angler, she was a boater, and it was the first or second year I was with the ladies, and she could skip under a dock like nobody's business. I mean, I was like, how do you do that? And she goes, I sit in my basement and pitch into a bucket for an hour every night. Every night. And I'm like, well, if I'm gonna learn how to flip and pitch, I need to
Yep.
go outside, get up on a step or something. And I just kept on and kept on, throwing them out in the yard, cut the hook off of something, and just kept trying. And it's trial and error.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, some days you can, skip it underneath as all the way to the back of the dock, and other days you can't get past the first part of the dock. So
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It'll humble you. It'll humble you.
Stacy Caldwell. Hey, DeAnna, you got me and Gail tuned in.
There you
hey,
go.
Stacy, hey, Gail. They're locals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
What's your go-to technique now?
Now,
Yes.
It's still the majority. I'll pitch a jig. I really like a
Okay.
jig. I like my shaky head with my Cinco on it or Yum Dinger, but I like my jig a lot.
Yep. And usually catches bigger fish, more quality. I'm the same way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have to make myself put it down sometimes.
Yep. Or then I'll just, if I see that they're just not on that, I like a Strike King Rage Bug,
Okay.
4-inch. That's a definitely go-to. I can put it on Texas on the shaky head, or even on the jig, depending on what size of jig I got. And that's been a very, very good bait for us.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's been around for a while. It's still
Yep.
popular as ever, I think.
Oh
So,
yeah, when they first came out, whenever we first started using them, they were called structure bugs.
yep.
And they shortened it to just a rage bug. So I was like, it'll always be a structure bug to me. But
Oh, yeah.
that's what it was.
Cassie Hall says, "Hi, DeAnna. I'm tuning in from Alabama."
Hey, Cassie.
Um,
Uh,
do you have any pre-tournament routines? Maybe just a mental or physical check through or anything like that you do?
I used to be, and Angela can vouch on this, and so can my husband. I used to have, with being a co-angler, it was just about the list of,
Yep.
I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. And, because you don't have your bow. So you got to make certain, is the life jacket there? Do I have stuff if it's cold? Do I have, check the weather, see what the temperature's going to be,
Yep.
or where the wind's coming out of. It's just, pretty much get up, drink my coffee, have all my clothes out ready the night before. It's almost like first day of school. You've got your backpack, you got this, you got that. And it's just getting everything organized. And a lot of being a co-angler is being organized, because like I said before, you don't have the whole boat. You have,
Right.
if you're lucky, one little section in the back behind you, and what you can put in the floor in front of you. And you've got to stay organized, because when whoever's running the boat says, all right, let's go, you can't have 20 things, 20 bags of bait or whatever sitting all over the floor.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Chris Phillips says, "Congrats on doing what you love."
Hey, Chris.
Angela Mayo, she has a serious list.
She'll be like, wait,
mine too. It starts off with cookies and ends up with a sandwich. But no. What's the one thing you wish more anglers would do to protect the environment, protect the fisheries?
Just to, watch when you have your cull tags, make certain you're protecting the fish, check your live wells, make certain your live wells are clean, they're working good, and that, you're checking on them. Because I've lost some smallmouth that, because in the state of Tennessee, they have to be 18 inches long to be able to keep them. So they're a good sized fish. And it just breaks my heart whenever, they're fine one second and you open the live well the next and they're belly up. And it's just like, you've got to, watch them and help promote the future. So
absolutely.
Absolutely. One of my good friends, Barb Elliott, she's a huge advocate for fizzing fish, and so we have her on at least once a year. She said she'd be willing to come on again and talk to people about fizzing fish. So, yeah.
And I did see, I had a tournament a couple weeks ago at Cumberland, and it made me feel good. There was a couple young kids, maybe high school, 13, 15, 16, and it was releasing the fish right at the ramp. And there's a couple floating up, and they'd grab the fish and fizz them, and they'd go swimming off.
Yep.
But nobody asked them to. They just did it on their own. So hats off to you, gentlemen.
Good for them.
Yep.
What's been the most challenging moment being a tournament fisherman for yourself?
Oh, that first tournament that I went as a boater by myself.
Yeah.
I was
I
scared to
can
death.
imagine.
It was on Pickwick. I was so nervous. And day one, I was boat one. I was like,
Oh,
really?
Nobody to follow. You're on your own.
I'm on my own. So I chickened out and went just straight across to the bank and just dropped trolling motor and started fishing. I'm like, they can go. I'm not very good at driving just yet. You know, I'm fine if there's nobody on the water.
Oh yeah.
You know? But if I got 20 boats behind me, 25, 30 boats behind me that they're all trying to get to their spot, I'm getting out of their way. But I'm gotten a lot better at that now. I mean, there's still some times that, you know, the anxiety of it, of just
Oh, yeah.
sitting there and everybody's just all on top of each other and you're just like, just go.
It reminds me of the old movie. It reminds me of a movie, Days of Thunder, when the guys run around track, setting a record, says, "Now let's see what you do in traffic." That is the exact same thing.
Yep.
100%.
Let's see what you do in traffic. Yep.
Yep. So, but yeah, I mean, the confidence is built, and I mean, we've gone to Gunnersville several times, and I went to Gunnersville last year for the ladies, and was a boater, and of course, my husband and I fished the ABA couples down there, so
Okay.
we're on Gunnersville quite often, and so luckily, where we've been going the whole time we've been fishing with the ABA couples, it's I already knew where I was going. I didn't have to stop and think, and I followed my map, of course, but I knew the areas that I was going to. It's
Yep.
not like learning a new lake and going, oh no, do I
Where do
turn
I
left
go?
here? Do I turn right? Which way am I going?
Yeah. Do you have if you could fish anywhere in the world or a body of water, what would it be? A dream lake
Dream Lake. I have
or a river?
so many close here to where I live, but I would say I'd like to go somewhere in Florida.
Okay.
I don't know really where, maybe Okeechobee, just because I've seen it so many times, watching the Bassmasters on TV and stuff. And then just, I don't know. I like my local lakes. I mean, I'm 2 hours from Del Holla, not
Yep.
far from Watts Bar. I've got Center Hill, Percy Priest, Normandy, Woods Reservoir, Nickajack, which where we were Saturday, and then Tim's Ford. So I have a bunch of lakes. Oh, Chickamauga. Chickamauga's
Oh
a good
yeah.
lake.
Oh yeah.
So I'm right
Yep.
here in the very middle. So I'm surrounded.
Yeah, Tim's Ford, I think, is a real underrated lake. I've been there a couple times. I've always done real good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got some good smallmouth in that lake.
Oh yeah, very underrated lake. True.
Pam says
True
you
that.
drove it like you stole it at Truman.
That was nerves, all nerves.
But
Stumps
I do
everywhere.
see the LBAA is going to Florida this year.
I know. The only one right now that I know I can do, and I can't even go as a boater because I don't have the time off, is I'm going to Caddo as a co-angler in March. So I would love to be able to go as a boater, but I got too much going on this year, and I can't take the whole week off from work to be able to go the week to Caddo. So
Well, your girl Secret, she did it last year, went as
Yep.
a co and won the co of the year.
oh
I mean,
yes.
I thought it'd be hard, going back to the back, but man, she made it look easy. I mean,
Oh yeah. She hammered it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, she puts her head down and fishes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be intimidating some of the boaters. She comes on the back of the boat, and you're like, "Wow, I got a hammer in the back. I better be on my A game. I better be on my A game today."
Maybe I'll let her take the front.
There you go. Where do I need to go? Show me where I go.
Yeah. Especially, if they go back to Kentucky Lake sometime soon. But I bet she'd go as a boater then.
Oh yeah, she will. She will.
Oh. Denise says, "Can't wait. Three Musketeers will be together again."
Yeah, that's Cato.
Uh-oh.
when we were at Hartwell a few weeks ago, they were like, "You've got to come to one," and I'm like, "All right, which one?" And they were like, "Cato," and they just kept on me. I said, "Fine, fine." I looked at my husband. I said, "I'm going to Cato next year." I came home and I paid my entry fee and got my name on the list. So
There you go. Can't
because
beat that.
yeah, we do. We have a great time, the three of us.
That is
And
pretty
the
lake.
ladies.
That is pretty area.
It is. It's great fishing. Great food too.
Oh, absolutely.
Now you're talking to Rob.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got my work sent me down there 4 weeks ago, and yeah, I caught back up with some good food. That's for sure. Can't beat
Yep.
it.
Yep. Usually when we're staying with Denise, and I'm just gonna throw it in there. Hey, we want some of that Cajun food that Larry fixes for us. Can't even think of what it is. Gumbo. Fixes
Yep.
some gumbo.
Can't beat that.
All right, you've been fishing for a couple of years,
Mhm.
so this question, I'm sure you're going to have a bunch of answers to. What's one funny or unexpected moment you've had while fishing in a tournament?
Can it be on the way to the tournament?
Oh yeah,
It could be wherever
absolutely.
you want it to be.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Truman was the tournament from heck. I'll be nice today. So we are driving, pulling the boat. My husband's driving, and we make it just out of Kentucky into Missouri.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, the truck stops running. It just
Ooh.
and we barely made it to a turnoff. We had people just backed up behind us. And Secret had been in front of us. We'd been talking on the phone a couple of times, and I told her, I said, "Hey, we've got truck trouble." And she came, told us that there was a gas station and place to eat just not far up the road. So we just barely, we were in, the truck had gone into a mode where it wouldn't hardly, it would move,
Yeah,
but it
limp mode. Limp
limp
mode.
mode.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Limp mode.
Been there.
So we made it there, and we finally got a shoot, somebody to come pick us up, tow us. They towed us to a um Chevy dealer
Yep.
in Missouri. And so we're sitting there, and there's a place next door that said they could get us in faster, because even the dealership said there's no way we can do anything. And sure enough, it was the transmission had just shredded. And
Oh.
it's
Oof.
like, how am I going to get to this tournament? So my husband went down the road and rented a boxed U-Haul.
Yeah, Pam remembers that. Pam's
You
got
all
that.
know.
Hey, got you
So
there.
it got us there. We had plenty of room to put everything in the back. So we get there, and I go into the marina and goes, I said, "You don't happen by any chance have an open slot, that I can rent for the week, because I got a U-Haul and I can't be pulling this boat in and out." So I got a slot in the marina, and yeah, he put me in, and yeah, we luckily, like I said, that tournament was not the best tournament for me. And yep, so I come pulling up in a U-Haul, and the luckily Terry Sendrick, who lives in Tennessee, lives right outside Nashville. She brought us home, and then the tournament director at the time lived in Kentucky, and he pulled our boat to his house. So when they called and said that the new transmission that got put into it was fixed, we went and rented a car, drove up to wherever it was in Missouri, and swam back by Larry and Glen Ellens and picked up the boat and headed home. But that was a costly trip, let me tell
Oh
you.
yeah, it happens. And one you'll never forget. One you never forget.
One that I will never forget. I never caught a bass the whole week I was
Oh,
pre-fishing. Never caught a bass the whole time of the tournament. It was just like,
it
okay,
happens. It
lesson
happens.
learned. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty fun.
Oh man. Oh,
Yeah,
it
so
happens.
Barking Ruger says, y'all ruin a good boat ride with all this serious fishing.
Larry's gumbo. Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She remembers that. She
Yep.
remembers that.
So my first big tournament was a BASS Open. I was a co-angler in that. My boater was from Florida. Day one was from Florida. He was up there for 10 days and caught 2 keeper fish on Oneida Lake. Oh, even Jeremy May from Virginia caught more of the fish than that, I think.
As sick as he was, he still caught more.
So we get out there and he goes, what do you know about this lake? I said, well, this is pretty much my home body of water. He's like, okay. So about 11 o'clock, neither of us had a bite. He goes, what do I do? And I said, well, if you go over here and do this, we can each get fish.
Yep.
Well, he ended up after day one, he was in like 15th in the tournament, 15th place.
Dang.
So
Nice.
yeah, local knowledge helps sometimes.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely.
It can hurt you as well.
Yes, it
Sometimes.
can.
Sometimes.
So we briefly touched on Carolina rigging.
Mhm.
What's your what bait or baits do you like using on the Carolina rig?
On the Carolina rig, I usually use one of two things. I'll use a baby brush hog, and then I'll use the rage bug, the structure bug.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
pretty much my two go-tos that I use on that. So,
And
but yeah.
what do you use for setup now? Do you use braid for your main line or fluorocarbon to fluorocarbon? And what's your kind of basic setup?
So it's usually fluorocarbon, a thicker gauge to so it's usually about 12, 14 to sometimes I might go 14 to 12.
Yep.
And it just depends on the water clarity and how deep I'm going. You know, if it's really dark water, I'll use, you know, a shorter leader. If it's, you know, clear, I'll use a longer one, and it just depends on the weather and, like I said, the water color.
Absolutely.
So no braid for you?
Mm-mm. No. Every once in a while we'll have something with some braid on it, but I'm not big on braid. I probably should be, but I just like what I like. So
Yeah, it feels
Right.
weird. I've done it with braid. And it feels weird. That's the best way I can explain it. Just
As far as like I'm in New York,
Mhm.
so when I see dark water, I get anxious and nervous because most of our water up here is clear.
Mhm.
How do you deal with going from clear water to murky water?
So Caddo is almost black. I mean,
Yeah.
it is dark water. And of course we have center here. God, I can't talk right now. Center Hill here, and it can be clean, it can be a little murky, but it's, you just have to pay attention, and the clearer the water, to me, the lighter the line you need to go.
Yep.
We were in Arkansas, Bull Shoals.
Yep.
And this was the first time Angela and I had, so it was probably 15 or 16, I can't remember the year, but it was the first time we had gone, and the water was up like 30 feet because it's a drain lake.
Yeah.
It pulls from everything else. And it was crystal clear. I mean, you could look down, watch your lure, watch fish swim around it, read a Coke can across, the bottom, and you're in
Yep.
30 feet of water. You're going, how is this possible? But it was crystal clear. And it's just, you just have to change the way you're thinking. And I know that now. I wish
Yep.
I'd have known that better back then, but it's
Oh,
what
yeah.
you learn. And, lighter line, just try to, because if you're using such bigger gauge line, then
Right.
they can see it moving through it too. And
Oh,
so you
absolutely.
just need to go through the lightest line you can fish with.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've started using 5 yard or 5 pound test a backer to a between 4 and or probably 6 to 8 pound fluorocarbon up here for my finesse fishing. And Barking Ruger says he only uses braid because winch cable doesn't spool.
I can see him do that.
They have lead core up here for trout
Oh, yeah.
fishing.
They're doing offshore. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, DeAnna, I do have a personal question to ask.
Okay.
What's your favorite homemade cookie?
Oh, chocolate chip.
Okay.
Chocolate chip.
Can't beat that.
All the way.
Can't beat it.
Can't beat
Yep.
chocolate chip.
Phew. She got a look of concern when I said personal question.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
a little
like,
worried
okay,
there.
what?
They didn't say anything about that.
I saw you ask Brittany that last week. Hey, Brittany, you're on.
All right. Well, we're at a point. We're almost 50 minutes in. We're at a point where now we like to give you the guest time to talk about your sponsors, mentors, people who help you along the way, and go from there.
Okay. Well, first, if it wasn't for my husband being so patient with me and, teaching me basic skills and being so patient, me driving the boat, you should have seen him with me on Pickwick. He was just like, you're killing me, and then I'd get all upset. But, I've learned, and there's still a lot I still need to learn. And, helping me learning to back the boat in. And yeah, I'm great on a ramp with there's nobody there. And I
Yep.
can do it with other people there now, but I still get that. Like, why did everybody come in at the same time? But
Yeah.
so, of course, my husband also makes my rods. He does Fish on Tennessee custom rods. He doesn't do it as much as he did prior, but he'll make a few a year, and it's great for whenever I mess an eye up or something. He can fix them and do that too. And then I've been involved with NC Pro Nation with it's not this jersey, but my tournament jerseys. They do a great job. Woo Tungsten. Pretty much every picture you see me in, I have this Woo Tungsten hat on. And Vector hooks. I'm a very big fan of Vector hooks. Poppy's jigs. And, that's pretty much, what I use, and ones that it's not really, a sponsor, but, I can be an ambassador for them because I wouldn't use them if I didn't believe in them. And then, of course, I love fishing with the LBAA. My husband and I do a couples series, like I said, with the ABA couples, which is great because it has to be one male, one female in the boat. And a lot, the majority of them are husband and wife duos that, they go out there and fish their butts off to try to beat everybody. And then I fished the 2 Chicks in a Boat tournament trail this past year. Wanted to say, if Lori and Beth are on. Thank you for my Christmas ornament. It has 2 fish
Yep.
in a boat, team tournament trail. And then on the Christmas card, it says the save the dates on when they're going to be doing their tournaments. So hopefully I might get to see them. There's a Del Hollow June 21st and 22nd. So, and then I just now you can see my fish her. We have
Yep.
a granddaughter that is special needs on the spectrum with autism. So we really try to, it's funny seeing, support
It's
autism.
reversed.
And,
Yeah.
it's in reverse. Yeah. And then Denise has her fish her or real girls fish, sorry.
Yep.
And just try to support as many, local and stuff that help promote women and just encourage everyone to get out there. I
Absolutely.
love seeing little kids fishing off the boat with daddy and mama or just on the bank. And so, but yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
I enjoy it. And my true girlfriends, that I've been friends with for years and years and years, they just cannot believe that I do this because, I always, makeup, hair. Who would have thought DeAnna would be the one that would go out fishing? I was not.
Hey, when the bug bites you, you got it. I mean, it is what it
Yeah,
is.
I mean, like I said, Roger had taken me to Gunnersville, and I'd mostly just been hey Brittany, been tanning on the back of the boat and pitched, threw out not a Carolina rig, Texas rig with a lizard, and I was like, oh, this is so much fun. So,
Oh, Rob, you got anything else?
I got a quick question for Mr. Rugers there, real quick.
What do you consider light line?
anywhere from 8 to 10, maybe even 5 to 10.
Yep. Absolutely.
See,
I think that light line gives a better action. I think it kind of glides a little better, has a little more action.
Yep.
goes through the water smoother. Like for me, light line is 4, 6, and 8 pound test.
Oh, okay.
10 to 14 is like a medium.
Yep.
And 17 to 50 is that's heavy line for me. So
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, I
that 4
don't
to
use
8.
anything. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
use anything less than a 10. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that 4 to
And
8 's that
usually-
BFS, that bait finesse.
Yeah.
That's kind of range it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
that's drop shot range up here.
That's something I need to put on my list to really learn how to do. Drop shot.
It really works at Del Hollow a lot.
And believe it or not, it works up here and for smallmouth. Every once in a while, you
yeah.
get bit on them.
I finally got a little bit the hang of the forward facing
Yep.
Okay.
at Hartwell.
Yeah.
Nothing was working. Nothing was working at all. And I was like, forget it. I'm just going to turn this thing on. And I was like, I was actually watching my jig go up and down, and I could see the fish. And I was like, I was just, bobbing it up and down. And all of a sudden, hey, this video game worked. To me, that's all it is. It's a video game.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
And so I was like, it wasn't, it's just one little fish, but I was happy. I was like, hey, I can see the attraction in it, but it kills the co-angler. But yeah.
Oh yeah. But
Well-
I know some young guys that's gotten really good at it, and on the off season they go crappie fishing with it. They say that really hones your skills because I guess crappie's a little more finicky. But yeah, I've heard a lot of guys say that that's what they do in off season to get better.
Yes. That's what John Sukup does.
Oh yeah.
Well, he started out crappie fishing. So, all right. Anything else, Rob?
No, I said we wish you the best of luck next year. We'll definitely be watching. And Caddo is an awesome lake, so I know you're going to whack them there. And have good fun, good times with you girls. So best of luck to you.
Yep. And I just, on a side note, I got a really good friend in Texas that I'm going to spend Christmas with, Katrina. She's been battling some cancer and is in the hospital right now. So if anybody out there could say extra prayer
Prayers up.
for my Trina, she's my sister. I've been best friends with her since I was 13 years old. And that's been, just a few years ago. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, she's my girl. So
Definitely have
prayers to her.
our thoughts and prayers.
I appreciate it.
All right. Denise says you ought to see her back up a boat in the pitch black dark with ditches. She's a pro. Love you, D. Great job.
I have my moments.
Oh yeah, everybody does. Everybody does. So, that happens. But yeah, tell him about MC Pro Nation. Dave Marcio does a good job. He did a jersey, and he had he's the only jersey maker I find that puts like a picture. He can take a picture.
Yep.
He put a picture of my grandfather on my jersey. So hats off to him. Marcio does a great job. So
yes, he does.
Is he still doing it? Because I talked to a buddy of mine who said he wasn't sure what was going on with him.
I haven't seen him online lately, but I only get a jersey about every two years, and so, but yeah, I hope everyth's okay with him.
I hope so too. I know I think he lost his mom a year or two ago and some other stuff, but great guy. So hope things are okay.
Yes, he FaceTimed me one day thinking he was calling me, and I didn't know who it was at first. And he's just talking away, and he's got the phone sitting in his lap, and I could see his face. And I was like, "Hey, look down!"
You're on camera.
I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, that sounds like him. That sounds like.
Oh, he was a trip.
Oh yeah, he's a hoot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, we'll let you go, and we'll do the end of the show. And appreciate you coming on. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge with us.
Thank you for having me. Anytime. Yep. And like I said, if there's any ladies out there, young, old, in between, that want to learn a little bit more about this adventure, let me know.
Now, Rob's getting a bikini made from Fish Her, so he may be knocking on your door saying, "Hey, take me fishing."
I got to work on my bikini figure first, so that's going to take a little time, I'm afraid. But I have seen a lot more young ladies, high school and college anglers in the BFLs and the Toyotas, so I think y'all making a difference. So hats off to you.
Oh yeah, I buy, if not more, at Bass Pro than my husband does. Like,
that's funny. Well, that's funny.
See that's smart on his point.
Yep.
Because then he can take you got 10 of those. I'm like, so it's what I use.
Need some spares. Can't have enough.
That's right. So all right, guys. Thank you so much.
Yours and that. I'm sorry.
I was just thanking you so much for having me on. This has been a real treat. I appreciate it.
Oh, we appreciate you.
Yes. Have to get you on to talk about how you throw the Carolina rig too.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, take care, DeAnna.
Bye,
appreciate
guys.
you. All right. Take care.
Whew.
Yeah, we need to borrow some of her energy. I need some of her energy next tournament.
I need it now.
I'll take it, Dad. I still hadn't recovered over my 2,600-mile trip last week. I'm still kind of dragging.
2 more guests on this week. Tomorrow we have Alvin Paliani with the American Angler Outdoor Network and Gray Goat Lures. He's opening up his spinnerbaits, starting them back up again. And on Wednesday we have MLF Pro Bill McDonald.
Yeah, Bill's a great guy.
Yep. You might have heard of him.
Yeah, I might have. Isn't he? I might have taken a boating ride with him on the FOW in Cumberland a long time ago. But yeah, and shout out to our boy Barkin Rugers. Hey Barkin, hey, in honor of you, man, I wore my shirt tonight. See, if I get it right. Okay.
Raging Cajuns.
So, but we appreciate everybody tuning in, and hope you can tune in tomorrow night. We really appreciate everybody, and hope you all have a good night.
All right. Well, take care, everybody.